Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another 1000 Gamerscore report. And today we are discussing Aliens Dark Descent. This is the closest comparison that I have is XCOM. It has two phases. There's kind of a base building phase. It's much lighter than XCOM. And then there's a deployment phase where you go on a mission. And in the missions, instead of having individual soldier control like in XCOM, you control your whole squad as one unit. So you only have one unit to control. There's not really much in the way of micromanagement. And instead of it being turn-based battles, it is real time. There is no, you go, I go, you go, I go. It is just live action, click and move. You're moving, they're moving. The one exception to the squad control, to the micromanagement, is that your squad has soldiers in it that can have certain abilities, and you do get to activate those individual abilities during a fight. If you have a sniper, he can take a long-range sniper shot. If you have somebody with a grenade launcher, they can fire a grenade. But again, that all happens live, and you just select the ability, and then it automatically makes the soldier take that shot. This whole game, very generally speaking, being very loose with the language, you could call it an XCOM light in a lot of ways, but there are significant differences as well. This game has 45 total achievements that you need to unlock in order to get that 1000 gamer score. There is no online component. There is no competitive PvP component. It is all single player. It is all just play through the story and get the achievements during the story, during the missions. No add-ons, no weird modes, anything like that. It's all story-based achievements, which is nice. In my view, this is about a 30 hours to complete for the average playthrough. You can definitely cut this down to maybe 20 if you're super elite and you have a very deep understanding of the mechanics right out of the gate. But I think that would be much more punishing on yourself. And if you play through normally, and like I suggest here in the upcoming minutes, 30 hours, nice and easy, and you'll get through this without too much trouble. So to get all of those achievements in this 30-hour time period, give or take, I recommend 2 playthroughs. A first playthrough on an easier setting, easy or medium difficulty, but with a special mode activated. It's called No One Can Hear You Scream, I believe, something similar to that. And what it does is it limits your saves. So normally, when you play through the game without this mode activated, you can kind of save at will. There's frequent auto saves, and you'll have a vast array of cataloged saves that you can jump back to at any time. When you have this mode activated, you only get 2 save files. One for when you're in the base building, a base building in air quotes there. When you're on the ship kind of making your tactical decisions, you get 1 save there. And then when you deploy on a mission and you're in the field, you have 1 save there as well. So it is much more limiting. And if you try to do this on the most difficult setting, I can imagine it would be a nightmare, because you could get yourself in a sticky situation and you're locked behind a save, and then you're not going to be able to get out of it, and then you're going to have to abandon the whole mission, go back to the ship save, and start all over again. So I recommend, when you're learning the mechanics, it's not that punishing to do that mode on an easier setting. Easy difficulty, medium difficulty, with the No One Can Hear You Scream mode on. Learn the mechanics, play through the game. It will not be that punishing. And then once you've done that, you do your second playthrough on Nightmare difficulty, and that you need in order to unlock the achievement for Nightmare difficulty. And if you do those 2 playthroughs, you'll be able to get all of the achievements without any trouble. So what else is involved in these 45 achievements? Well, thankfully, the good news is it's pretty standard single player stuff. You want to upgrade everything. You want to research everything. You want to get all of your soldiers to max level. You don't want to lose any soldiers in a playthrough. A lot of stuff that makes a lot of sense and is just typical good achievement gameplay for these type of single player games. Are there collectibles in the game? There are. They come in the form of data pads, and it is a good news, bad news situation here. The good news is the information about the collectibles is given to you very clearly. Before you even launch the mission, they tell you how many data pads are available, and in-game you have kind of a codex, a database that you can access to see all of the data pads, and they have like a set order. There's 12 blank spots, and if you pick up a data pad, it's data pad 3. It doesn't automatically become the first data pad. So you can see which ones you're missing in order, which makes it easier to search for them and find them or follow a guide, which I've put together as well for all of the data pads in the game if you're interested in using that. So good news is they are very easy to track. The information is very upfront. It's not like a blind hunt. The bad news is a number of them are missable. They are located on certain missions. About a third of the missions, I want to say, are non-returnable. Some of the places you go back to, and if you miss a data pad, you can get it on your second trip there. Some of them, when you complete the mission or when you get past a certain point, those areas become locked off, and if there's data pads there, they're gone. You cannot get them. You need to do a second playthrough. So I really don't like missable achievements, and that counts as missable for me. But as long as you go into it knowing ahead of time, you're usually given the warnings before you do something that's irreversible. And so you can check your data pad log, make sure you've got them all before you progress. And if you're missing something, go and hunt it down. The most annoying achievement of the game for me is far and away, chalk it up to experience. This requires you to have a Marine with 2 prosthetic limbs. And the reason this is so frustrating is because it's kind of random and it encourages bad gameplay. Basically, when you're in one of the missions, you can have a soldier get injured in such a way that they lose a limb, and it can be random. It could be an arm or it can be a leg, whatever. You have to save that Marine, get them back to the vehicle that returns you to the base, get back to base successfully, either completing the mission or in the midway of the mission, and then you can treat that soldier when they're back at the ship, when they're back at the base, and one of the treatments you can do is to give them a prosthetic limb. Well, great. Now you've done it once, now you have to do it again without that soldier dying. It has to be a different limb that gets cut off. If they lost their left arm in the first accident and they lose their left arm again in the second, that won't count because they won't have 2 different prosthetic limbs. It's very frustrating because it's kind of random to get that kind of injury where you lose a limb. Usually if you were going to lose a limb, you could die. And so it is a frustrating gameplay loop that you have to do twice. If it was just once, it would be much more forgivable. But twice on the same soldier is a tall order. Thankfully, there is a way to kind of cheese this. In the game, you get a missile barrage ability, which you can call down. It's an area strike. And it's very annoying because it's squad-based movement, but you can manipulate your soldier to get one soldier to go where you want to go if you really work at it. So if you have a soldier who's got 1 prosthetic limb, you set down a missile barrage, you get that soldier to move through the missile barrage, and then you just pray to RNG that they get injured, that they lose a limb, that they don't get killed, that you can then go grab them and return them to the base to get their second prosthetic limb. It took me probably 30 to 40 minutes grinding just that one achievement. I had to save, and then I had to do that loop over and over again. Fire the missile barrage, send the guy in, oh, he died, try again. Fire the missile barrage, send the guy in, oh, he didn't get injured, he didn't lose a limb, try again. So very, very frustrating, very annoying, not fun, not promoting good gameplay. It's just kind of working these very wonky mechanics to get this specific set of requirements. The hardest achievement in the game, not even a debate. For me, it was, this ain't no picnic. It is complete the story on the nightmare difficulty setting, the hardest difficulty setting. It is very, very difficult. It is very grueling. It is very time consuming. There are saves, so it's not so punishing from that aspect, but just to give you an idea of how much I didn't like this last playthrough, how difficult this was, I was recording a full playthrough on the nightmare difficulty, and I had all my videos going. I had some of them like edited and prepared, and I was finishing up the last mission in the game, the last substantive mission. The last mission is story-based and very short, but the last real substantive mission of the game probably took 2.5 to 3 hours to do. Finished it. Okay, sigh of relief. And then I go and look, and the recording failed. The file was corrupted. And so I looked, and I had a save right at the beginning of the mission. I could have played through it again and done the re-recording, and it wasn't worth it to me. I was not going to go through that pain again to put together the video. It wasn't worth it. I was not going to do that last mission a second time. So just to give you an idea, it is a pain in the butt, but it's certainly doable. You learn the mechanics, you'll get through it, but it takes some planning, it takes some learning, it takes some strategy. So it's kind of rewarding when you do it, but certainly not something that I wanted to experience twice. And with all that said, we come to my final rating for the achievements for Aliens Dark Descent. It's a very solid 8.5 out of 10. I don't like missable achievements in any form, and as I said, a number of the data pads are missable, and there are a couple other weird achievements like the one that I mentioned with the soldier getting 2 prosthetic limbs, where you kind of have to fail and then save the failure to unlock the achievement, right? I like achievements that kind of promote good gameplay or interesting gameplay or find a secret or do something. It's not let your guy get abducted, let somebody get incubated or incapacitated, right? There are these things that you have to let your soldiers fail and then save them to correct the mistake. Not a big deal, but that'll cost a half a point as well. So, great game, a lot of fun, not very polished. It's a weird game with the production quality, with the cinematics, right? There's some weird things about this game, but the gameplay was fun. I really liked it. The Aliens universe is such a very interesting and engaging and engulfing universe. The aliens are great. The combat is great. The abilities are great. So this is one that I highly recommend. A couple of speed bumps on the road, but if you look ahead, it will not be that painful to get the 45 achievements and the 1,000 gamer score for Aliens Dark Descent. So enjoy this one. Hopefully, I definitely recommend you go pick it up and try to complete it. Hopefully this video helped you out. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.